Okay, so the question was, how can we get Excel to show ounces but broken out into gallons, quarts, and pints? So let's say we're starting with something like 560 ounces. So the first thing that I would do is I would convert this into the gallons. So I'm taking this 560 ounces and I used the convert function, which basically converts things from one measurement system to another. So I use the convert to convert the 560 ounces to gallons. Okay, so that gives me 4.375 gallons. So the trick here is, how do we get it to show that 0.375 as quarts and pints? So the first thing that we have to do is we need to separate the gallons from the remaining amount. So what I used here was I used the truncate function to truncate this number and get it down to just that whole number. So I truncate that down to where it just shows, it's just going to show the 4. Okay, so now I know I have 4 gallons, and then I'm just using some helper columns here. So I'm using a column to subtract the gallons from that total amount. So I'm going to subtract the 4 gallons out of the 4.375 to get just the 3.75. And then I'm essentially going to repeat this process for each different increment. So I take that 3.75 and I'm going to convert that, because that's gallons, so I'm going to convert that from gallons to quarts. So I can see that 3.375 gallons is 1.5 quarts. So then I did the same thing. I used the truncate function to isolate just the 1 quart and get rid of the decimal place. Then again, I'm going to subtract the quarts out of that remainder here so that I can get down to just that 0.5, and then one more conversion, right? So now I know that I have 4 gallons, 1 quart, and then I still have this half a quart that I need to deal with. So then I did one more conversion, converting that number into pints. So then I end up with 4 gallons, 1 quart, 1 pint in each of these columns. Now, what I did here was I just did a concatenation to concatenate those back together if you wanted them to display that way. And so I did this in separate columns just so you could see each step. You could try nesting some of these functions inside of each other to try to get this into more consolidated functions, or you could use the helper columns and then just hide these. I could hide all of the ones that I'm just using for the calculation purposes to get this to where you just see the gallons, the quarts, and the pints. And the nice thing about doing this as a formula is I could put in any number and it's going to go through and it's going to do that for me, at least out as far as I have calculated these increments. So I hope that helps.